All right, for today's Purple to Black Belt class, there's a bunch of things that we need to go over with you folks. One, we're going to be going over some of the strikes that we do traditionally in martial arts, things like chops and ridge hands, and palm heels, and trying to work on some of the little details that make those much more effective. We're going to be reviewing kata kick 2, in particular working on combinations within kata kick, not so much reviewing pattern, but taking the individual movements that we do and do them at a really high level so we can do them fast and powerfully. Right? We're going to be talking about generosity and being generous with the people that we love in our family that maybe we don't get to see every day right now. Right? Maybe we don't get to see them very much, if at all. Right? And finally, we're going to be talking a little bit, or we're going to be working a little bit on some of the push-up challenges that we do for our brown belts to prepare for black belt. So we're all going to get a chance to do one of those today. So busy day. Let's get started with warm-ups, and then we'll take the rest of the class from there. So for our warm-up today, we're going to be doing 4 moves. Each of those moves is 30 seconds long. We're going to start off with some ski jumps. When we do our ski jumps, right, nice and easy, not too fast. Ready, set, and go. Right. Get your body ready. Move your arms a little bit if you can. Right. You can wiggle them, shake them out. Just keep hopping, keep breathing. Small jumps here. You don't have to jump too hard, too far, or too fast. Just keep bouncing. A few more seconds and time. Okay, next up, you do some twist and blocks, right? So you're in your fighting stance. You're going to come across with a cross-body block, across with a cross-body block. Just twisting your body, loosening up through your spine, your back, turning your feet, turning your hips, right? Turning your shoulders, not turning your head. Try and keep your head pretty stable, keep you from getting dizzy. A few more seconds. Block and block, block and block, block and block. Good. All right. Switch your legs. You can do these sideways so you can get a different angle of these. And go. Turn and block. Turn and block. Right? For those of you who are a little bit more advanced, who maybe learned how to block a roundhouse kick in sparring with a kind of a double block, it's a little bit what we're doing right now. But if you're not too sure about that, and there's twisting thing about doing a cross-body block, that's fine. The big thing here is the turning, right? That your feet are moving, your hips are turning, right? Just getting warmed up, loosened up, ready for class. Good. Okay. Last move, we have crawl outs, right? For a crawl out, I'll show you one, and then we'll do 30 seconds worth. You start standing up, you squat down, bend your knees a lot, right? You're gonna crawl out on your hands. Take your time doing this. You can do 1 push-up, you can crawl back, do a little hop. That's what you can do, right? So we're doing that for 30 seconds. I'm gonna turn sideways so you get a sense of what that looks like. So from here, squat down, crawl out, do a push-up, crawl back, tiny hop, right? Go at your own speed, right? If you're feeling a little sprightly, you want to challenge yourself, you can go fast. If you need to take your time, you can take your time. If you're having a hard time with the push-up part, when you get out, you can put your knees down, do the push-up that way, pick your feet back up, crawl out, do the hop. All right. So that'll bring it into our warm-up. Let's get ready for the main class right now. So today we're going to go over some of the kind of traditional hand strikes in martial arts, things like a chop, right, and a palm heel and a ridge hand. And we're doing open hand strikes today, right? Now, each strike has kind of benefits and trade-offs compared to, say, a closed fist punch, right? But we're gonna go through each of them one at a time and make sure that we do them safely and appropriately so that we can use them in class as we kind of move forward. So first of all, we're going to be talking about a palm heel. Now, a palm heel is actually a really important strike to learn. It's one of the safer ways to strike that's similar to a punch. If you are striking someone in the head, right, you probably want to hit with a palm heel. If you're hitting like a hard surface, you generally want to use a palm heel. If you're hitting something softer, then you can make a fist, because your fist it's strong, but it's not as strong as the heel of your palm. Okay, you can palm heel something hard and not break your hand. If you punch and you make a mistake, you'll hurt yourself. Right, so it's actually really good for someone who's a beginner, right, or if you're hitting to a hard surface like, the head. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a palm heel. When we do our palm heel, we have to pull our fingers back. You can kind of see that my fingers are out of the way. A lot of people make the mistake of letting their fingers curl when they do a palm heel, and then they smack their fingertips and they go, ow. Yeah, don't do that. So you wanna keep your fingers pulled back, and you hit with the heel of your palm, which is down here, not up here. All right, so we're gonna do 10 palm heels on each side. Set yourself up. Ready, palm heel. We're using our right hand. Ready, go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I don't want to get into the details of this. 5, but the body mechanics of this. 6 is just like when you throw a punch. 7, nothing's really different. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, we're going to switch your legs. Same idea. Palm heel. Think about hitting right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You can see I'm turning my shoulders. 4, turning your feet. Same thing as a punch. 5, 6, but pull those fingers back. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to switch back. Now we're going to do kind of like the equivalent of a jab cross, only we're going to do it with palm heels. So your hands are open, straight, 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 straight. Now very often when we teach like a women's self-defense class, right, or we're teaching a beginner how to defend themselves and they want to learn very quickly, we don't bother teaching them how to punch. We teach them how to palm heel because it's an easy and safe way to learn how to strike, and you can hit with it. And like I said, as long as you keep your fingers pulled back, right, it's very strong, you won't get hurt. Okay, let's switch our legs. Same thing the other side. Palm heel, palm heel, palm heel, palm heel. Right, just like your jab cross. Just keep your fingers pulled back. That's the big thing, right? Keep your fingers pulled back. Hit with the heel of your palm. Right. If you do that, you've got a pretty good palm heel. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Okay. Next, we're going to switch to a chop, right? Now, heard all sorts of names, karate chop and shuto and all sorts of things like that. We're just going to call it a chop today, right? When you do your shuto, your hand is pretty flat, but there are a couple things that you're going to do. First thing you're going to do is you're going to pull your fingers back like that. Okay, and as soon as you feel like you do that, you're going to feel your arm tighten up. You're like, oh, that burns. And then you're going to take that last knuckle, you're going to bend it down. And when you do that, you'll be like, oh, that really burns. It really tightens up your hand, and it tightens up your forearm, and that's kind of what we want. So in the very least, you want to try and do this, right? If you can, you also tuck your pinky and tuck your thumb, so it kind of looks like that, right? It's a little bit in, right? Just a little bit out of the way. So you get a lot of things that you're doing with your hand to do a shudo well. If you do that correctly, man, you'll be like, whoa, Sensei, it burns my arm. It's on fire. Well, hopefully it's not actually on fire. That'd be catastrophic. But yeah, that's your muscles tightening up and strengthening, right? So that's a good sign, right? So what we're going to do now is we can do chops all sorts of different angles. We're going to be doing a sideways chop like this, okay? Kind of looks like you're asking for a 5. Your palm is up, okay? So we're going to do this. We're turning our shoulder, turning our body. It's very similar to how we turned on our palm heel because that's how you generate power. You turn, right? So try and get that hand the right way. That's the hard part. Ready? 1, chop. 2, chop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, and we're going to switch. Now, the nice thing about a chop is it fits into tight areas, right? So very often goes to something like, oh, I'm trying to hit the neck. I don't want to hit the head. I don't want to hit the shoulder. So you can get into that fine area with a chop. Not always, but very often. It also makes a smaller surface area so you get more kind of penetration on your strike. But I'm not worried about that too much today. Let's just get that hand the right way. Ready, on 1, little bend to your fingers. 2, tuck your thumb. My first one was actually not as good as I wanted it to be. That's okay. 3, that's what I get for switching and talking. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so we've got our palm heel, we've got our chop. The last one we're going to go over today is called a ridge hand. Now, ridge hand hits with the thumb side of your hand over here, right? And there's like a little muscle between your thumb and your pointer finger. That's kind of where you're trying to make contact with a ridge hand. This one comes around with your arm pretty much straight, okay? The same thing that you did with your fingers in terms of pulling up and bending down, that still happens, but it's super important on this one, that you take your thumb and you tuck it underneath. Right? So if you can only do one thing, if you're like, I can't remember all that, tuck your thumb underneath. Right? Then you can tighten your fingers, and your pinky's kind of irrelevant. Right? So we're coming around with a ridge hand just like that. We're going to do 10. Ready? Go 1, 2, 3, and you can see it's mostly straight. 4, 5. You actually bend it a little bit so you don't hurt your elbow. 6, but your arm's pretty straight. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Other side. This is actually one of my favorite strikes to break with. I like doing a ridge hand. I don't know why. But it's a fun strike. Ready? On 1, 2, 3. Tuck your thumb in. 4. Bend your fingers. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Okay, so those are a few different open hand strikes that you learn in martial arts. There's some more that we could go through, but putting your hand into different positions gives you different options and different advantages, right? So like I said, with a palm heel, you can hit a really hard target without fear of hurting yourself. These kind of bladed strikes, you can kind of squeeze into smaller targets, like chopping someone in the neck, right? Which is not a particularly large target. Can be kind of sneaky with those strikes, but kind of fun. Hope you had fun with them. Let's get ready for the next part of class. All right, so we're going to be doing some strikes to our stuffed animal or to our ball, right? So you can use any kind of medium-sized thing, something that you can hold in one hand that you can hit with the other. This is, like I said, pretty soft target is good. Stuffed animal may be my first choice for this. But if you don't have a stuffed animal, you can use a soccer ball or any ball that when you hit against it, it's not going to hurt. We're not going to be hitting super duper hard, but what we are going to be doing is trying to feel where we make impact with our different strikes, our palm heel, our shudo, or our chop rather, and our ridge hand, right? So here's what you can do. You're going to set yourself up, hold the ball in one hand, okay? And we're going to turn it kind of sideways. And again, you may be holding the teddy bear, right, like this as well, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to do our chop right into it, okay? We're not trying to break it. We're not hitting super hard. We're just seeing what part of our hand actually makes contact. And what we're really looking for is that you hit right here, right? Don't feel your finger. If you feel your finger hit, you know you did it wrong. Right here, good. Right here, you broke your finger. Don't break your finger, all right? So we're going to do 5 chops to the ball. Ready? 1, 2, and you can see how I'm hitting. 3, pop, right into it. 4, you can see I'm also hitting not with my fingers, I'm hitting with my hand. And 5. Okay, now we're going to switch. We're going to do a ridge hand, the exact same thing. We come across, we hit here. We're hitting with this part of our hand, right? We want to feel it as we hit something that's kind of soft. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to switch our hands. We're going to do the exact same thing. So hold the ball in the other hand. All right, we're going to start off with our chops. Make sure you get your finger out of the way. Hit with the edge of your hand, not the edge of your finger. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know you're strong. I don't want you hitting strong. I want you to make sure you're hitting with the good part of your hand. We're going to turn. We're going to do our ridge hand now. Remember, right here, this is what we're trying to feel. If you feel your thumb getting hit a lot, that's a bad sign. You might have had your thumb out too much, or you might have twisted your hand too much. Don't hit your thumb. That will feel terrible if you try to do it on something hard. Ready? Ridge hand. 1, pop, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're switching to a palm heel. By the way, palm heel is the one that's actually best to have a ball for, right? So we're going to hold it, and we're going to turn the ball towards us like that. You can kind of see from the side. I'm going to do these mostly sideways. And we're just going to hit, and we want to make sure that we feel only the heel of our palm touch, not our fingers, right? So if you have a really floppy teddy bear, right, this may be a little bit tough to do, so you may want to switch to a ball, but like I said, you can do it with a teddy bear too. Just make sure you feel it hit here, not hit your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm beating up this poor ball. All right, we're going to do the same thing the other hand, making sure we understand where we hit with our strike. So hold it, just tap it. 1, 2, 3, don't break it. 4, and 5. Okay, so you can do that with your strike some more if you're not feeling like you're hitting it with a good part of your hand, but as you work on that, you shape your hand the right way, you feel that hit the ball, that will mean that you're safer and safer to use that strike whenever we are able to practice on a pad or a heavy bag or whatever it is. All right, so great job. Let's get ready for the next part of class. All right, so we're going to continue talking about generosity, which is really the idea of sharing our time and our talents, our treasures with someone else, right? And we've been talking about that idea when it comes to family, like our immediate family, the people who we live with, right? And how each day we should make sure that we're taking a little bit of time to do something for them, to be generous, that maybe we don't feel like doing at that moment, but something that's really good for them. And I've heard all sorts of kids telling me great examples about helping out their siblings with their homework, right? Helping their parents with cooking and setting the table. And I've been really proud to hear that because, you know, we need to know how to pull together during challenging times, not fight with one another during challenging times. However, what I want to talk about today is something a little bit different. It's not the people that we necessarily live with, but that we still care a great deal about, right? Now, I don't know who lives in your house, right? Maybe your grandma does live with you. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe you have an uncle who lives nearby. Maybe he lives 1,000 miles away, right? Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you don't forget about those other people that you love. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean that you can't be generous with them, right? So that might mean that, hey, you know what? Asking your mom or your dad to set up a FaceTime call with I don't know, grandma, right? Or writing a note to your uncle saying, hey, that you miss him and you can't wait to see him, right? Or, you know, drawing a nice picture for your aunt, right? Whatever it is, my challenge to you is to take a minute and think about something that you could do that would be generous with your time or your treasures or your talents, and do that for someone who's, you know, someone that you love, but who doesn't live with you, doesn't get to see you every day right now, to make them feel like there's still a connection there and still feel, you know, appreciated, right? And I think that will be a really great thing for you to do, because a lot of the people that we love, they don't get to see us right now, and they're kind of sad about it, right? And maybe you're sad about it too, and taking a couple minutes to think about something and do something for them really will make you feel good on the inside, right? So that's our challenge with generosity today. If you need a moment to think about it, feel free to pause the video, right? Give yourself some time to think. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving on with the rest of class. Today we're going to work on kata kick 2 by not necessarily doing kata kick 2, but by doing a piece of it. We're going to isolate a section of the form, and we're going to do it repeatedly really, really well. Now, when you do it, there are 4 possibilities that you can choose from. I'm going to show it to you right now. First option is just roundhouse kick, lead leg, side kick. And it'll look like this. You go with your right leg, and your right leg, then you turn around, and you go with your right leg, and your right leg. Okay? So that's one option you can choose, perfectly fine. Second option you can choose is almost identical. It's roundhouse back step side kick. It goes right leg, all the way, right leg, right leg. Okay? So you can do either of those two. I'm sorry. Yeah, right leg, right leg, right leg. Okay? You can also do roundhouse kick, back step side kick. When you do this one, your legs start to take turns. So it goes right, left, land, go back the other way, left, right, land, go back the other way, right, left. Okay? And then the final one you can do is front kick, roundhouse kick, spinning hook kick. Make sure you land back on the spinning hook. It goes like this. It goes right, left, right, land, turn around, do the exact same thing on the other side. Left, right, left, turn around, do the same thing on the other side. Right? So you're going to pick from one of those 4. It doesn't really matter which, right? As long as you pick something that you can isolate. When you do it, you're going to pick one of the goals for it. Right? One of the goals is to just focus on landing your foot properly after each kick. Right? That's kind of the most basic layer that you should be picking. Right? Next up, you have, am I controlling my hands? Are they staying up at the appropriate level? You could be focusing on kicking at the right height for you. Okay? Most side kicks are belt height. Otherwise, climb that ladder, get up to chin height would be fantastic. right? And finally, you can work on speed, right? Now, if you're doing one of those first two combinations, you're gonna pick one side and you're gonna do it for a minute and a half, right? If you're picking one of those later two combinations, kind of automatically keep switching. But whatever it is, we're going for a minute and a half. Get yourself ready, get set. If you need a moment to pause this, go ahead, right? But otherwise, we're going for a minute and a half doing one of those combinations. I'm gonna do roundhouse kick, spinning backside kick. That's what I wanna do. Ready? And go. Now as you do this, you can stop in between and gather yourself. I recommend doing the kicks themselves kind of fast if you can, but you can stop and be like, wow, I'm getting dizzy. I'm gonna slow down for a moment. Lost my balance on that one. Didn't like that one very much. That's gonna happen sometime. That's why we practice. Not so we can be perfect, but so we can be better. Almost out of time, keep moving. Got about 30 seconds left. Stay focused on your challenge. Didn't like that one. That was a bad one, didn't look. Here we go. Much better. All right, so one round down, we're going to catch your breath for a few seconds. Now, as you go to do it again, if, we're only doing one more time, by the way, if you picked one of the first two combinations, roundhouse lead or roundhouse back step side, you're definitely doing the same thing, you're just doing it on the other side, right? So you go left, 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 left. If you picked one of the later two combinations, you have the option to either focus on a different thing or do the other combination, right? Up to you, whichever one you want to do. For me, I'm going to focus on a different thing. I'm going to still do roundhouse kick, spinning back side kick, but I'm going to think a little bit more about my hands, right? I was thinking about my kicks, I'm going to work on a different focus. Minute and a half, same thing, get ready. If you need to pause this, catch your breath or whatever, get a drink of water, you can, but we're going. Ready, set, go. Have a goal. Make sure you know what your goal is. If you're just wiggling your legs, you're not getting better. Have a goal. Keep it in mind. Think about it every single time you throw the kicks. Stay focused, and you'll get better. And you're going to have some that you like, some that you don't. That's part of practicing, especially if you're challenging yourself. If you're happy with all of them, you either pick something too easy or you're being too easy on yourself. I remember my teacher, when he would practice forms, he would say to me, he'd practice the same move over and over and over again because he didn't feel good about it. Just keep practicing. That's how I get so good. I tried to do that all the time when I was trying to get promoted. Helped me get my belts and stretch faster too. Practice that move over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you can't do it wrong. Not until you can do it right. Doing it right once doesn't mean very much. Do it over and over. All right. So that's our minute and a half of that one. Good job. If you want to practice that some more, feel free to pause this. Go back, set up a timer for a minute and a half. Keep practicing. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next part of class. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a bunch of push-ups. right? And for our push-ups today, there are 3 different kinds. I'm going to quickly demonstrate how they go. And then we're going to do about 72 of these different types of push-ups. The first one is a wide push-up, right? The way it works is like this. And most of these push-ups, I'm going to recommend for almost all of you do them on your knees. Right? So the way I do my push-up is I put my hands, instead of like normal width, just much wider, right? And I'm going to come all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Okay, so that's a wide push-up. That's pretty simple. The next push-up we're going to do is called a clap push-up. When we do our clap push-ups, it's like a regular push-up, only you jump your hands off the floor and you clap. Right? So it's going to look like this. I come down, just like that. Make sure you land on your hands, not on your face. Okay. Last push-up we're going to do is called a side-to-side push-up. Right? This one probably requires the most explanation. You start in a regular push-up position. Right? You're going to move one hand to the other hand, then out. Do a push-up. Hands together, hands apart. Push-up. Hands together, hands apart. Push-up. Hands together, hands apart. Push-up. Right? So those are the 3 types of push-ups we're going to be doing today. For almost all of you, you're going to be doing 12 of each type in a row. And then you're going to do them all again. Now, throughout this, you can stop as many times as you need. Right? You can do it in the middle of a set. You can do it at the end of a set. It doesn't matter. The most important things, you do 12 of each, all the way up, all the way down. Let's get started. Wide push-ups are first. We're doing 12. Ready? Go. And afterwards, you can sit, shake out your arms, move, or you can go right into your next set of push-ups. Whatever's the right thing for you. We're going clapping push-ups for me. You can sit in the middle if you want, rest. If you keep going, good for you. Right? I got 4 more to go. All right, 12 down. Catch your breath if you need to. If you don't, you can jump right into those side-to-side push-ups. We got 12. Keep that body straight. Good. All right. 36 down. 36 more to go. I think I can do some of these sideways to get a different look. Remember, you can rest as much as you need to in between sets, right? It could be 10 seconds, it could be 10 minutes, right? Just keep moving. Don't be afraid of moving slowly, be afraid of standing still. Last one coming up. And then we're good. Side to sides. Whew. All right. So that's 72 push-ups. If you need more time, pause the video, do what you got to do. Remember, it's wide push-ups, clapping, side to side, 12 each, 2 times. We're going to keep moving on with the rest of the class, though. All right, so we're going to end today with a little bit of Sensei Says. Right now, basically, Sensei Says is a lot like Simon Says if you've never played Sensei Says before, where if I say Sensei Says punch, and you punch, you're good. If I say Sensei Says, or if I don't say Sensei Says, if I just say punch, and you punch, not so good, okay? So you only do it if I say Sensei Says, right? So let's practice a couple. So Sensei says punch, Sensei says punch, punch, you don't punch, okay? So you got the basic idea. Now, the way this is going to work, this is not an elimination style of this, right? This one is accumulate enough points and then you win, okay? You need to get to, let's go with 10 points to win, okay? So you give yourself a point if you do it when I say Sensei Says, or if you don't do it when I don't say Sensei Says, okay? I'm going to do it every single time. So if you're just watching me, that's no good. We got to focus our ears. We got to listen carefully to what I say. Right? Don't just watch what I do, listen to what I say. Right? So we get into our fighting stance. Really simple, right? Oh, by the way, we're going to be doing moves we've done in class. So palm heel and shoot or chop and ridge hand and right? And then some other things that I know we've done, right? Like brush and front kick and whatever, right? Dance moves, maybe not dance moves. Right? So start off in your fighting stance. Doesn't matter which leg's in back. Ready? Sensei says palm heel. Right? So if you did it, give yourself a point. If you didn't do it, don't. Sensei says chop. Same thing. If you did it, give yourself a point. If you didn't, don't. Ridge hand. Now, if you did it, don't give yourself a point, because I didn't say Sensei Says. But if you didn't, good for you, right? Sensei says ridge hand. Good. If you did it, give yourself a point, right? Sensei says front kick. I know we've done front kick before. You know how to do that one. Front kick. If you did it, no point. But if you didn't do it, good job. You get a point, right? Palm heel. Oh, don't let me trick you. Palm heel. No, Sensei says palm heel. Good. Keep going. Once you get 10 points, you're done with the class. And you can get going. Ready? Jab. Sensei says jab. Sensei says jab. Palm heel. No point there if you did it. Good. Sensei says brush, grab, back fist. By the way, it doesn't matter which side you did. As long as you did it, then you get a point. Brush, grab, back fist. That time you wouldn't get a point because I didn't say Sensei Says. Sensei says ridge hand. If you did it, give yourself a point. Sensei says chop. If you did it, give yourself a point. Now, a lot of you are already done. I'm going to do a few more. If you haven't won by the end, that's okay. You can rewind, try it again, see if I trick you. Ready? Sensei says palm heel. Faster, palm heel. If you did it, I tricked you. No point. Sensei says palm heel. Good. And Sensei says chop. Well, I used my other hand. Sensei says chop. Other hand, chop. Well, if I did it, don't let me trick you. No point there. Ready? And chop. Did I trick you? Sensei says chop. All right. So hopefully you're able to beat me in Sensei Says today. Great job. I look forward to seeing you in class soon.